Big matchup here with LSU. Going to look at it by the numbers. We're going to analyze their last game against South Carolina. What kind of chances do they have?
You are Locked On Vandy, your daily podcast on the Vanderbilt Commodores, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Locked On Vandy podcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Corey Burton. Joining me is Mike Huesmann. This is the Locked On Vandy podcast. You can find us anywhere you find your podcast and on YouTube as part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Mike joining me from Off-Season After Dark from the After Dark Network. Mike, it's always a pleasure seeing you, man. What were your initial takeaways? You're a South Carolina guy, actually. What are your takeaways? What were your takeaways from that game this past weekend against LSU? And how do you see, since now we have common opponents, how do you see Vanderbilt matching up against LSU?
So both South Carolina and Vandy did things that impressed me where I didn't think they would. And they also did things that it's like, okay, we still see the gaps here and aspects of the game where they're not so great. Both teams finally got the run game going a little bit. Both of them ran for over 100 yards. Gamecocks were in the 190s, LSU in the 160s. And going into that, they were ranked 15th, 16th in the conference in rushing. So neither of them, were doing anywhere near that. One other thing that I think I was affirmed that LSU's defense is good. To only allow 10 points in that game. Blake Baker's doing a heck of a job, both running, passing. Statistically, their run defense is quite a bit better. 21st in the country against 42nd against the pass, but very good on both areas. I think in terms of matchups with Vandy, one area where Vandy could get after them is Vandy's D-line could get after LSU's O-line, I think. I don't know that LSU will run the ball as well against Vandy as they did against South Carolina because just the makeup of the defense is South Carolina's defensive front there, getting after the quarterback, rushing hard. They're not heavy run stoppers. I think Vandy's going to be better at that. So I think one of the keys will be if Vandy can prevent LSU from running the ball. And I think they have a decent chance to do that.
Yeah, I mean, Vanderbilt ranks 5th in the conference in run defense, allowing 90.83 yards per game. They've only allowed 3 rushing touchdowns, 3.21 yards per attempt. So they're pretty stingy on the run. And Alabama, I guess the way that game unfolded is they just were able to run the ball late because the dam had already broken. But that's an area that I see this D-line, Mike, being able to, and that was one of the first keys I had for this team just overall, make Garrett Nussmeier one-dimensional. And by doing that, you stop any semblance of a run game, and you can kind of focus now on, okay, let's make Garrett Nussmeier throw off platform. Let's test that oblique. Let's test that ankle. It's getting better, but we're going to see kind of the progress of that. But the biggest thing, like you said, that I really liked is the defensive line, and that's Khordae Sydnor, that's Zaylin Wood, that's Glenn Seabrooks, that's a host of other people. Jalen Stone was making some plays against Alabama. I mean, there's probably a rotation of about 6, 7, 8 guys that can come in and really just make things difficult on this offensive line. So the battle of the trenches, LSU just it's hard to, and Brian Kelly said this himself, it's hard to replace 5 offensive linemen.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen in LSU's 3 conference games, we've seen low-scoring games. 20-10 against Florida and South Carolina. They lost 24-19 against Ole Miss, and then their other power conference game was 17-10 against Clemson. They're a team that they're not going to score many points. They're not going to allow many points. That's too large of a sample size for it to be an anomaly. I expect that to happen again with Vandy this week. I don't think we see a game with a lot of points. think we see, margins are closer, turnovers will amplify that and, be important like they are in all games. And Nussmeier threw 2 picks last week. It's an area where he's not been great, in recent weeks. No. And that was, one of the things in that game with LSU South Carolina. Both of those QBs underwhelmed as they have most of the year. I mean, Nussmeier, to me, doesn't look healthy. It's Sellers just has a ways to go as a passer. But if you're Vandy, I think, it's like you had said, you have to force Nussmeier to beat you. He's good. Maybe he can do it. But you can't let LSU get the tilt on you in the trenches and just run the ball, which is what Bama did late in that game, like you talked.
Yeah, and that's what LSU ultimately wants to do. I don't think they've built themselves to be an aired out team or a down the field team and up tempo team. I think they want to run the ball because that helps Garrett Nussmeier, but they haven't been able to because this offensive line's been pretty jacked up. But the scoring, and you brought up another point there. The scoring output is low, but they're gaining a whole bunch of yards. So, where's the disconnect? I know turnovers play a part in that, but they can't finish drives with a lot of points. They had 460 yards of total offense against South Carolina, only put up 20 points. Where's the disconnect?
I think a big reason for that is their inability to run the ball. When you're getting in the other team's red zone inside the 10 and you reduce the field into, when you're fighting in a phone book, you have to get some push and run the ball. They haven't been good at doing that. Yeah. Same reason the Gamecocks have struggled near the goal line.
Yeah, just can't run. And that was a matchup of 2 of the worst running teams in the conference, 15 and 16, actually. And it's going to be even tougher sledding because, like I said, Vanderbilt is 5th against the run in the conference. Passing wise, Vanderbilt is 12th against the pass, so that they do have an avenue to throw the ball a little bit. And some of those numbers were skewed with Ty Simpson just dicing them up all day long. But I mean, this is, again, this is a very electric group of receivers for LSU. Kyle Parker had a nice game. Anderson, I think, is coming back. He's been banged up. Not sure if he's going to suit up or not.
It sounds like he's still questionable.
And he's still questionable.
Report. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Barry and Brown and Xavion Thomas are both all right.
Mm-hmm. Barry and Brown's got speed, but they just hadn't been able to take advantage of it. Trades Green is going to be more involved in the game plan. I mean, I think his snap output increased by 20-something snaps. He got third. He's been consistently getting about 30 or so snaps, and then all of a sudden he gets about 50 in this game against South Carolina. And he had a 100-yard day. They want to get him more involved as well. So for Vanderbilt's defense, to me, the key, I think, is going to be A, get after Nussmeier and force him off his spot, and B, hone in on Trades Green, find a matchup for him, which I think Brandon Fontenette is going to be the other X factor because he's going to be the one that's probably going to draw that coverage assignment with Trades Green. If they go man coverage or whatever, but if they go zone, they're going to have to communicate and do whatever they got to do. But we're from a passing perspective. They're kind of just all. To me, when I watch them, they're kind of just all over the place because they're trying to see. To me, it feels like they're trying to see what Garrett Nussmeier can throw.
I think that's probably a good way to put it. And you brought up a good point with Green because he has almost as many targets this year as Bauer Sharp, the other tight end, but Sharp has played significantly more. So Green, when he is playing, they're more likely to target him, and I think that trend continues where we see him, get more snaps, be in the games more than he has been up to this point.
Okay, well,
I think another area to look at, and this is another stat that oftentimes falls in line with teams that are running the ball poorly. LSU's not a good third down team. They're 58th in the country on third downs. They're only converting about 40% of them. Ooh. That could be because you're not putting yourself in good position on first and second down, but the third down is an area they're struggling at on offense. They're middle of the pack nationwide.
They're 10th in the conference. There's teams that are worse, 41%. Florida's actually, and South Carolina are actually the 2 worst, followed by Auburn.
Not surprising, yeah.
Vanderbilt's number 1, just about, fraction of a point above, you guessed it, Arkansas in converting third down. So it's you go from you got a matchup of an elite third down team and a not so elite third down team. So that's going to be good. We're going to continue more of this with Mike and previewing this game. We're gonna continue to look at all avenues, all facets of this game. We're breaking it down by the numbers, and we're going to continue with that next. I want to talk about Mazda real quick. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride with more IIHS top safety pick awards than anybody else. From footwork to breathwork, athletes sweat all the details, and Mazda brings the same intention to how we craft every model. You can feel the Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from metallic accents to available Napa leather upholstery. You can make everyday drives feel like anything but, from smooth handling to intuitive controls. And with all-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV, you can drive with confidence throughout almost any season. So like our players, we sweat every detail, because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved. Everyone's favorite here, Mike, Peloton, shaping the future of fitness with a brand new Peloton cross-training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. It's the most advanced equipment yet, designed to give you real-time guidance and endless ways to move, whether you're running, lifting, or cross-training with your favorite instructors. This is training reimagined. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with tools that help you plan, stay motivated, and reach peak performance. And Mike, I don't know about you, but I love how Peloton IQ system offers real-time strength coaching, because that's what I need. It actually tracks reps, suggests the right weights, corrects your form, making every rep smarter and safer. The swivel screen is a game changer as well. You can go from running on the Tread Plus to strength training without missing a beat. You just spin that screen right around, man. That's called efficiency.
Nice.
Yeah. And with personalized class recommendations to keep you engaged, you get workouts tailored to your vibe and energy level each week. So you don't have to train alone. So let yourself run, lift, flex, and push forward. Explore the new Peloton cross-training Tread Plus today at onepeloton.com. It's more than just bikes, I promise. All right, back with Mike Huesmann here, Locked On Vandy, joining me again. Mike Huesmann of Off Season After Dark, just absolutely crushing it. So if you need an off-platform listen, there you go, from the After Dark Network, Off Season After Dark.
Our Western Kentucky episode dropped today.
Yeah, Topper Talk. I love it.
Yep.
I love it. So go check that out. And then Locked On SEC as well. Chris Khordae, phenomenal job there covering the entire conference. So, Mike, we've been breaking down the numbers, right? Third downs. I want to explore this a little more, because part of winning third down, there's a lot that goes into that, and a lot of people are like, "Well, just win third down, right?" And it seems so simple, but it's not quite that simple, because you got to be playing a defense that allows third down conversions, and LSU is about 6th in the country at allowing just 31% of third downs. So they're decent about getting off the field. But on first downs, winning first downs, and converting on first down, I guess, LSU is 9th in the country, Vanderbilt, or 9th in the conference, and Vanderbilt is 5th in the conference at winning first down, right? And that's probably the most important thing. And here's something that Brian Kelly said in his press conference right here about third down. It's a little bit ways down, but he said, so we've got to get them off schedule. First down is really crucial for us. I want to hone in on that statement right there, because first down can dictate your success on third down, right? So when I watch LSU, a lot of the times I see them that they're not staying on schedule on first down, because again, they're having trouble running the ball. So how does Vanderbilt's defense, how can they take advantage of that? And how can, on the flip side, how can Vanderbilt win first down against the defense that's pretty good at not giving up points and pretty good at bending and not breaking?
I think keeping them off balance, which they're one of the better teams at doing, the way they'll work in their tight ends, shifting, motioning, doing the like the jet or the shovel pass where Stowers comes in, those things where you can't let LSU pursue you too much. You have to put in some stops where that they'll over pursue and it will cost them. You have to keep them on their back foot a little bit. Otherwise, they're going to get you more off the nut. So you have to do that by creating some doubt in their reads, things of that nature, misdirection, type things. And a basic one to that is you can't have penalties. You can't be getting in 1st and 15. That's not going to help you.
No, it's not. And because LSU is going to be able to tee off on you and really come after you, whether it's a run blitz, pass blitz, or whatever. You make any mistake, you help them out. This is a team that's talented enough that can bury you if you allow them to do so.
Absolutely.
And so, like when you look at other things defensively, you've got you've got penalties or whatever. Vanderbilt is very, surprisingly, they're middle of the pack in penalties, which means they're not too undisciplined and they're not as disciplined as they want to be. LSU's right there, just a couple notches above them. So that's, in 6 games, they've had 41 penalties, 372 yards. Vanderbilt has had 44 penalties for 408 yards. So they average about 62, 68 respectively.
Yeah. Nationwide, they're both near the bottom. That LSU's 88th nationwide, and Vandy is a little bit below that, 102. Yeah, surprising for those two teams. I wouldn't have thought that.
Absolutely. And here's the stat that kind of surprised me because, Vanderbilt is always considered elite on this stat. And we're not sure with LSU not really scoring a whole lot of points. Again, this just makes LSU that much more confusing is when you look at time of possession, they're right there like a minute apart from each other. LSU 6th, Vandy 7th in the conference in time of possession, 31:09 versus 30:58. So, a handful of seconds apart as far as time of possession. So like Vanderbilt is taking more advantage of their time. They're scoring at a clip that would make their time of possession make sense. LSU is not. And again, the difference is the run game. So, I mean, it's confusing in other ways, but it just seems like, Mike, it all funnels back to if LSU could just run the ball, a lot of this would be solved, right?
That's absolutely true. I mean, it's the one part of their game where they're significantly below average. Everywhere on defense, they're good. Their throwing game has been decent. They've not been effective running the ball, which has been a big disappointment for them, considering, going into the season, a lot of us were saying Caden Durham was one of the better, top 3 running backs in the conference. He hasn't even been close to that. I'm not blaming solely him for that. There's a lot that goes into it, but he hasn't been near the top there.
Yeah, no doubt. And, another stat that makes this thing twist and turn. And again, we're looking at this matchup by the numbers. So just don't be alarmed by that. Because we're kind of meandering kind of all over the place, trying to find an edge within this matchup. And the edges right now is the running game. But when you look at sacks by and sacks against the stats, sacks against, Vanderbilt is tied for first in the conference with Tennessee. So I'm not sure that they're not giving up a lot of sacks, I think is what that means. They've only given up 4 sacks this year for minus 23 yards.
Yeah.
LSU is also surprisingly, and I guess this is probably Nussmeier's getting the ball out too. They've only given up 7 sacks this whole season. So you can tell their strength on their offensive line is pass protection. They're getting rid of it quick too. I don't know that their pass blocking is great, but you would mention it. They're getting rid of it very quick. His ADOT has been very low, way lower than it was last year. That's average depth of throw downfield. And you know what's a surprising number, Mike, is Alabama with 13 sacks. Because Ty Simpson just seems like he's just never in trouble. But Auburn leading the way.
Well, how many of them came against Florida State? I bet like half of them did.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah, you're not far off there. 4 of them came against Vanderbilt.
Okay.
South Carolina has gotten to Sellers has gotten sacked 20 times. Auburn 22. I mean, it's pretty staggering. And then sacks by. So Tennessee leads the way. They've gotten 26 sacks on the season as a defense. Vanderbilt is tied for fourth with Auburn and 18 sacks. And LSU has gotten only 16.
They're not a big blitzing team.
No, they're not. That's why they sit back. That's why they.
Arkansas has to be last on that list. Please tell me I'm right.
Arkansas is got 11. Last on the list is Kentucky with 7.
Oh, that's okay.
Followed by Georgia, and Mississippi State are tied with 8. And
2 other teams blitz ever. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you got 3 teams with 9. That's Bama, Florida, and Ole Miss. Yeah. And then South Carolina with 14, LSU and Missouri and Texas all have 16. Auburn and Vandy 18. A&M with 21, Oklahoma 22, and Tennessee 26. So
I think Oklahoma had 13 in one game, and they have 22 overall. Yeah,
that's pretty crazy.
Another number I wanted to bring up that in these lower scoring games with the tighter margins, Vanderbilt has blocked 3 kicks this year. Only 2 teams have blocked more than that, Buffalo and Wyoming. So that when we're talking about games like this, that's a significant momentum and field position changer if they can get one.
Yeah, absolutely. And they would have had more, but Marlon Sewell ran into the kicker and roughed him and gave up a first down against Utah State, who I still believe could be Mountain West. Not Mac. I always say Mac. Mountain West. That might be my low-key my favorite conference in the G5 is Mac. Mountain West. I think they're going to contend out there. But, special teams is huge. And we're going to dive more into that, not only kick blocking, but in the return game as well. We're going to dive into that, and we're going to wrap up the show here with Mike Huesmann next. Okay. Mike, have you started getting ready for the holidays? It's never too soon.
I have not. No,
it's never too soon. The holidays are going to be here before you know it, which is exciting. But getting your home ready for guests and celebrations can feel like a lot. Maybe your serveware needs a refresh, your guest room could use new bedding. Whatever the case may be, Wayfair has everything you need to get your home holiday ready. From Christmas trees to wreaths to bedding, cookware, outdoor inflatables, all of that. It's your one-stop shop for every room in the house. Wayfair makes it easy to personalize your home for the holidays with a huge selection for every style and budget. And with free and easy delivery, even on the big stuff, you can get everything you need without the hassle of huge delivery fees. So if you want your house to, and I know you're definitely a Clark Griswold, right? When it comes to Christmas, like you just have every inflatable, every light, sleigh, things you stake into the ground, all that stuff, right?
Oh, 100%. Gotta go all out.
Gotta go full Griswold.
Meters just going all in circles. Yeah,
it's just next thing you know, you get your electric bill in January, and it's like $1 million, right? So you can buy all of that stuff on Wayfair, all that, and it's easy to find. It can fit any style or any budget, and it's all in one place. Check out Sabri's. I'm sure and the delivery is fast and free, which is a lifesaver because your light bill is going to be really expensive if you're Griswolding it up. But now instead of stressing about getting the house ready, you can actually enjoy the holidays with friends and family and have that big reveal on the street where you plug it in, right? So get organized, get refreshed, and get ready for the holidays for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. And we go from Wayfair to SupplyHouse. When the opening whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward with SupplyHouse. Order today and see parts on your doorstep tomorrow. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. Their real-time inventory and honest lead times keep you from punting projects, while their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered. You need parts faster for a project? SupplyHouse has next-day delivery. Talk about a game changer. Pathfinder tools and 3D schematics can save you hours on jobs where every detail matters. Their Trademaster perks like priority shipping and dedicated support make the process a whole lot smoother. So join the free Trademaster program today and score serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and dedicated support line. Visit supplyhouse.com to sign up for free and use promo code SHCollege5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com real people, real service. All right, wrap it up here. Mike Huesmann from Off Season After Dark. Check out his newest episode, Topper Talk, where they dive into the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. It's an exciting episode. I can't wait to dive into that, man. I'm just as excited as you are because
that guy's awesome. Steve Moffat's name. He was fantastic. Yeah,
I love it, dude. That's going to be a great show. So, like I said, we're breaking this episode down. We're breaking LSU down by the numbers, and when you look at special teams, that right there, that can spark a lot of momentum. That can spark a lot of big plays. And you said, to refresh my memory, you said Vanderbilt was third in the country in blocked kicks, right?
Yeah, they blocked 3.
They've blocked 3, would have been 4 against Utah State.
Which would be tied for the most in the country, if you had one more. Yeah.
And then the return game. Yeah, they're not getting a whole lot out of the return game, and I think a lot of that's because they're playing good punters. But they have, let's see, on punts, punt returns, these are return stats. They are 12th in the conference. They average, 10.414 yards per return. They've had 7 for 71. They have actually scored on a punt return.
LSU's been a pretty good punt return team this year in terms of yards per return, a little over 10.
Yeah,
not many better. Yeah.
And they're right there. So that's pretty even right there. Kickoff returns, yeah. Vanderbilt's third in yardage. They haven't scored yet. They've returned 7 for 193 yards and 27 and a half roughly per return. So there's no I guess as far as the return game, there's no real edge here. I think it's just going to be opportunity blocking wise. Can Vanderbilt make an open field tackle? But in the blocking game, that's where I think LSU has got to be. And I don't think they punted a whole lot against South Carolina to this, so we didn't really see what their punt coverage looked like, did we?
No, and that can vary game to game based on it is one team a wall return, are they going up the middle, how are they diagramming those up? And it's something where one of the few areas where the Gamecocks are elite at, so it might be a whole different game plan, depending on who you're playing.
Yeah, no doubt. And so for Vanderbilt's offense, fourth in rushing in the conference, they average about 208 yards per game. LSU's 7th in the conference, 102 and a half yards given up, rushing wise. Where's the edge for this Vanderbilt offense? Because when you look at passing and rushing statistics, LSU's right there in the middle, and Vanderbilt is also right there in the middle from an offensive perspective in those stats. So, where's the edge as far as Vanderbilt's offense versus defense?
I think the edge, how I would phrase it, would be they're going to be better, hopefully, at staying on schedule. So Vanderbilt's one of the better defenses in the nation. They're 12th at forcing tackles for loss. They're getting 7.5 of them per game. LSU, on the other hand, 78th. They're not getting nearly as many tackles for loss. If you're Vandy, if you're tackling LSU for loss on first and second down, you're getting them behind schedule. You're getting them into throw-heavy situations. You like that. Conversely, if you're Vandy, one of the better first-down teams in the country, combined with LSU's not tackling you for loss, you're less likely to get behind schedule there.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's one thing that Vanderbilt, against Alabama, they just, for whatever reason, they couldn't get on schedule. Mm-hmm. And I think they panicked a little bit because they were trying to find ways to get those chunk yards back. Instead of just, and I heard this at a coach's clinic, end every series with the kick. It could be a punt, it could be a field goal, it could be a PAT. It does not matter. End it with the kick, and you're usually in pretty good shape. So stay on schedule, stick with the game plan, be patient. I think is probably the biggest key for this team against LSU. Stay on schedule offensively, stay patient with the game plan. Same with the defense, right? Keep stuffing the run. Nussmeier's they're going to hit some plays on you. They're going to. They're too talented not to. but you just got to limit the damage on those, force them to get into those red zone situations, bend, don't break, make them attempt field goals, make them do all that. Any final thoughts on this matchup?
I think you just hit it there perfectly. The bend but don't break, because in a game like I expect it to be, where there's lower scoring, margins are going to be tighter. If you're holding them to field goals, in the end, that could be a win. That could be, this could be a 20-16 game, 21-17.
Yeah.
The difference could be allowing field goals and not a touchdown.
Yeah, no doubt. And so I'm excited for this one. This is the first time, speaking of, I'll leave you with this number. This is the first time in 51 SEC games that Vanderbilt has been a favorite. They've been an underdog in 51 straight SEC games. It's
wild to me that game is coming against a top 10 ranked team too.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like that would break the streak. They're two, and the line went from 1.5, and now it's sitting at 2.5.
Yeah.
Like it's going in the direction that no one thought it would go. Like I thought it would maybe swing to even or eventually swing back in favor of LSU.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like it's doing that, which is crazy.
No. Yeah.
Which is crazy to me. But Mike, appreciate you joining me, man. As always, Off Season After Dark is just a phenomenal show. If you're missing out on it, you're truly missing out. Topper Talk is the latest episode, but he's been all over the map.
And next week we're having one of your brother Locked On stations, Locked On Utes, having the Utah guy.
Oh, that guy's awesome. I did a guest spot for him back when Nate Johnson transferred.
Oh yeah,
back to Utah. So that'll be
JT
fun.
Is his name. Yeah, we were talking today.
He's great, dude. He's a phenomenal. You'll enjoy him. He's great, man. Good. And talking about the Utes, who are absolutely they steamroll Arizona. So, but anyway, Mike, it's a pleasure. And as always, guys, anchor down.